everybody, Max over at Maxley Music here in Monrovia. Here's just a quick tip about finger picking, especially if you're trying to play like folk singer-songwriter style acoustic guitar. Now, I'm not a natural finger picker in general, but years back I started getting more into finger picking, and it started with just kind of sitting down at home on the couch at night, just kind of playing softly with my hands more than with my pick, just kind of plucking through and getting my fingers used to how the strings felt underneath my hands. So one thing you want to do, what I noticed with finger picking, is you want to make sure your fingers just kind of get used to where the strings feel and the spacing between the strings on the guitar. And eventually, with a little bit of repetition back and forth, you're going to get a little bit more control where it feels like your fingers don't have a mind of their own. They're kind of listening to what you're trying to get them to do. And one tip I have is making a thumbs up, like you're giving someone a thumbs up, and having your thumb rest on the bass string, whether it's the E or the A or the D. And then your other fingers, instead of having your fingers doing kind of like a pinching thing, with my students I call this the Mr. Krabs claw. So instead of having the Mr. Krabs claw, you do a thumbs up, have your thumb on the E string or the A, and then have your other fingers kind of tucked away so you can't see them, which might feel kind of odd. You want to kind of, at first you feel like you want to see where the strings are, but you're going to feel them. So keep your thumb on the bass string, and then doing a chord or no chord at all, you can just kind of do a forward kind of roll. I'd suggest using your thumb, index, middle, and ring, and then kind of a backwards pattern. This would be like a 3/4 or 6/8 time signature thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And just doing this slowly with no real pressure of having any rhythm or any kind of specific tempo. Just trying to make sure your fingers are feeling like they're gripping the strings right. You're controlling the volume and the intensity and the speed of each finger, so it doesn't feel like one finger is kind of jumping out too loud or kind of rushing. And just practicing this kind of pattern with some different chords, some different patterns you like. And then also, when you're switching between these chords, we might tend to play the root note of each chord with your thumb. So if you're playing like a G chord, I'm using my thumb on E, but if I'm playing maybe a D chord, I'm dropping my thumb down to the D string, and then my fingers kind of follow. And then also, last thing is, when you're doing some finger picking, you have a lot of control over the overall sound and the notes you're getting out, just by kind of switching which grouping of strings you're plucking. So if I'm doing a regular old G chord, got my thumb on E, and then I know it might have my index finger on D, middle on G, then ring finger on B. If I have them a little bit more scrunched together and I start my index finger on A, simple thing, but it does change the order of the notes that you're hearing, and so it has a little bit of a darker, kind of warmer sound. You drop it all the way down to the G string, super bright and super a lot of the higher octave notes. So you have a lot of control within your simple chords you're playing about which textures you want. You want that darker, kind of warmer tones, you want the real bright, kind of sharp tones, and so on. So hopefully those few tips help.